everybody. Today we're going to be learning about sequential art and a little bit of how sequential art helps artists and the viewers and the readers understand each other better. So, story time. Starting from about, a little over 10 years ago, I decided to move to a country for a job where I didn't understand the language. I knew some words like red and blue, but I didn't know how to form a sentence, and it was really hard to understand the people around me. And I really wanted to learn the language as well. I was living in Spain, a country in Europe, and I had a job where I spoke English all day, and then at night I would go out and take classes and talk to people and practice my language skills. But it's really hard to learn a new language, like really hard. So what I needed was a lot more practice than just out talking to people and asking, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a teacher. What do you do for a living? That was a little not enough, you know? So what I did is I bought this book. This book is called Persepolis, and I had already read it in English. So I kind of knew what it was about, but I hadn't read it in a few years. So I decided it was enough similar to something I already had in my mind that it'd be a good idea to read it in Spanish, my new second language. And this book helped me with new vocabulary by showing pictures and words next to each other so that I could figure out what those words mean without having to look them up in a dictionary. And that meant that learning Spanish, not learning English, I already knew English, learning Spanish was so much more fun when reading a graphic novel. This isn't a comic book, it's a graphic novel because it's got chapters and it's really long and heavy. Comic books, graphic novels, and diagrams are what's called sequential art. And there's a really awesome author, Scott McCloud, who my husband now, then boyfriend, told me I should read these books to better understand how sequential art works. And I loved reading them. He made it fun to learn about art history and the history of how sequential art works. There's two books that I have looked at. One is called Understanding Comics, and the other is Making Comics. So, through Mr. Steve and my own love of comics, I started to discover superhero comics like Squirrel Girl. Mr. Steve bought me comics from my favorite TV show at the time, Bob's Burgers. And I started to collect comic books that were a little bit rare, sometimes comic books that Mr. Steve had worked on, and sometimes even comic books in Spanish still. So I have a lot of comic books that I can look at for reference and learn from, but I found a new book that combines storybooks, like picture books, and comic books all in one to show and share a story that I related to very much when I was trying to figure out what people were saying and communicate and make friends. Only this story is about a boy and his grandpa. This story is called Drawn Together, and we're going to read it today. One of the things about this book that is really unique is it includes Thai script. That means the letters, as well as the language, are not something I can read. But this book very cleverly puts the translations in the beginning. So when the grandfather is speaking, I'm going to say, and the grandfather says in Thai, which Thai is the language he's speaking, and then I'll say the words that he's saying, okay? Okay. Drawn Together by Min Lei and Dan Santat. So, what's new, Grandpa? The grandfather says in Thai, "How are you doing?" "Dragon!" The grandfather says in Thai, Would you like to watch something else? Can we watch something else? Right when I gave up on talking, my grandfather surprised me by revealing a world beyond words. And in a flash, we see each other for the first time. All the things we could never say come pouring out. And we build a new world that even words can't describe. But just when we're closer than ever, that old distance comes roaring back. This time, I'm not afraid. Because I know that together, we can make our way across. Now, after years of searching for the right words, we find ourselves happily speechless. I really hope you loved Drawn Together as much as I did. What I really love about this book is that I don't speak Thai either. And so I feel like the little boy trying to understand his grandpa. I would love to learn Thai and learn how to read it. It's such a beautiful language. Is there a language that you're looking forward to learning? It's really hard, but very fun and very rewarding. I recommend it. Buenos dias!